All these superstars that made recommendations in such a timely fashion yesterday, maybe they don't feel the pain of what's going on.
There is no question about that.
So then why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it?
Well, then there's other issues around climate issues and other things that are affecting things in Florida.
What issues did you learn last night?
Now that we are 3 days removed from that presidential debate, there's only one question that matters. Will there be another one? According to Trump, he says no. According to Kamala Harris, she says yes. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how the media and her campaign are underestimating Trump's support and ignoring what independents truly think about Kamala Harris. And it's not good. Watch this.
She was a no-show at the Fox debate. You know, Fox invited her. She was a no-show. She didn't show up and refused also to do NBC and CBS. She went over to ABC, which in my opinion has taken a big hit because these two people were bad news. They kept screaming at me. So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no third debate.
After hearing this, Harris is now begging for another shot.
2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our debate. You watched it? Did you watch it? And look, I believe we owe it to have another debate. Right? We owe it to the voters.
Is Trump saying no more debates as a negotiating tactic? Now he has the leverage because Harris wants another one. She needs another one. She's running behind. Trump can say, oh, you really want another one, Kamala? Let's do it on Fox. That ABC debate was 3 against 1, and even the Harris campaign admits they couldn't knock him out. Her aides say they believe that at its heart, the race is unchanged. The Democrats' numbers guru, Nate Silver, says Trump still has a 61% chance of winning. Trump campaign internal battleground polling just released. Trump had a post-debate bump of 2 points on Kamala. Democrats in the media made the same mistake they've been making for years. They underestimated him.
Now, I'm of the opinion that there will be another debate. I believe that Trump is a master salesman, and he's going to negotiate this debate starting from the moment that last debate ended. So that's how I see what he's doing, by the way. And remember, she needs it more because she's lacking the support she needs to put him away. You see, Trump already has the support he needs to win this election. What's still up in the air are the independents, and will they vote for him or her? He still has that advantage. He didn't do anything during that debate to lose those votes.
I talked to 20 voters. Not one of them was undecided.
Wow.
Not one.
Not one. And headlines come and go, but let me tell you this. Support for former President Trump is real and resilient. I encounter that everywhere I went. And that's something the Harris campaign knows, recognizes. It's a fact in Michigan. For this election, would you say your mind is made up?
Yes.
And that is?
Trump.
Okay. Are you a previous Trump supporter?
The first year he won in 2016, I was not.
Did you vote for Hillary?
I did vote for Hillary.
Okay.
And I cried when she did not win.
Okay. Then what happened?
And then I just felt like he did a good job. I liked the fact that he was not a politician.
You believe you were better off 4 years ago?
Oh, absolutely.
I know it. You know it. Even Kamala Harris knows it. Majority of the country knows it, that they were better off 4 years ago. We all know it. The problem, though, is there is a good percentage of this country that does not value that exactly. What they value is personality, and they hate Trump's personality. Now, do I think that we should be governing this country based on someone's personality? No. I think we need to govern this country based on results. And that's where Trump always has the advantage over Kamala Harris. And this is why you have networks like MSDNC, yes, you heard me correctly, pointing out the obvious weakness of Kamala Harris's campaign. Watch this.
Jeremy, the headline of your latest New York Times piece is "Pundits say Harris won the debate. Undecided voters weren't so sure." Explain.
So a lot of undecided voters, and the few that there are, because let's be clear, like this election is still going to be decided on a knife's edge. All the polling confirms that. And I'm told even some of the private polling that the campaigns have been looking at since the debate affirms that the needle has not moved much, even though it's very clear that Donald Trump lost this debate. But she has to get out there. The one attack that has been effective that Trump and his allies have leveled at her is that she's been hiding and she's afraid to answer questions.
Now, I don't believe she's going to be effective at doing that because she hasn't shown it. Maybe she'll surprise us again, and she will do it. My money, again, is on that she won't. I firmly believe that when it's all said and done, Trump will become the 47th president of the United States, because I still believe that the mistakes that the Democratic Party made in her campaign, particularly in hiding her for so long, I don't think it's going to work for her in the end. Now, if she had been doing interviews and she had been warmed up before that debate, maybe she would have actually spoken to these undecided voters, because she would have got the reps and the feedback from the interviews she was doing previous to the debate. But listen, I'm not a campaign strategist. I'm sure they know what they're doing, right? Which is why she's still tied in the polls, or like the latest poll that came out where she was down by 1 point in the state of Michigan. So I'm sure they know what they're doing. But in the end, will she do exactly what we've been asking her to do from day one?
Now, she has to now close the deal. People who before were Kamala curious are like, okay, she handled Donald Trump, but they still have unanswered questions. Listen, if you're Kamala Harris right now and you're listening, talk to reporters now. Talk to everybody. If you can handle Donald Trump, a raging bull, if you can be the matador against this crazy person, you can talk to a reporter. Get out here. Let people ask you the tough questions. You can do it. And I think she can start closing the deal with the people who are Kamala curious, but you still don't know what she's going to do for them.
I don't think she will close the deal. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's in the Democratic DNA to do that today. I think the Democrats are so confident with their elections that they don't believe they need to truly put up a legitimate candidate, or a strong candidate, I think would probably be the better word, because they know they have a shit product, but they've been historically good at selling that shitty product, versus the Republicans. They have a great product, but historically they've been shitty at selling that great product, right? So I think that they've been playing with fire, that is the Democrats. And you can also argue the Republicans have been doing the same, just in their own way, where it really comes down to, what do you truly believe will happen more likely? Will it be more likely that she will rise to the occasion and go balls to the wall when it comes to doing interviews and truly just show up in a way we've never seen her? Or will they ride her to the end of the election doing what they've been doing that got them to this point, which leaves the door open for Trump to continue to create the narrative around her, define her more than she will for herself? That remains to be seen, but time is running out. And on the policy side, she is still tragically losing that argument, especially when you have people continuing to go onto the corporate media news channels and call it out.
Prices are going up no matter what, Andrew. Whether you do it on the tax side, whether you do it on the tariff side, our policies are silly. We can't be Santa Claus. All those programs aren't policies, they're promises that never get by Congress, and each one of them has a cost we can't afford, because we've done this before. When you prepay and you make policies that don't make economic sense, you may think you're getting a benefit. Look at what we learned yesterday. Finally, wages reach 2019, but it doesn't reflect how much they've gone up since 2019. If you're out there and you're a young person, study up. Study up. All these superstars that made recommendations in such a timely fashion yesterday, maybe they don't feel the pain of what's going on, but I feel bad that they can't buy houses and insurance. You think these prices of insurance are going to go down, Andrew? You think people in Florida that could barely hold on to their homes could afford 300% increases in their insurance?
There is no question about that. It's a very true statement.
Right, so then why don't we talk about it? Why don't we talk about it?
Well, then there's other issues around climate issues and other things that are affecting things in Florida.
What issues did you learn last night? The ABC people were like a turkey shoot.
Now, I think he passionately points out the glaring weakness of the Democrats and Kamala Harris. Their policies are spend money first and tax people at a higher rate. That's exactly what they're going to do if she gets into office. We know this to be true because that's exactly what Joe Biden and her have been doing. So it's going to be more of the same. There's polls showing people believe that she represents more of the same. So can she overcome that? My answer is no, she can't. You cannot undo the damage you've already done over the past 3.5 years. But will that decide the election? I'm still of the belief it will, because it hurts everyone except, like he pointed out, the Taylor Swifts of the world, the people you see on the news channels, these athletes, these Hollywood actors. It doesn't bother them because they have plenty of money. But that person who's working a 9 to 5, they have 5 kids, they're never home, they're in Pennsylvania, rural area, jobs have been declining. It hurts them the most. And then when they see that migrants are coming into that same town and draining up resources. And I'm not of the belief that migrants are bad people. I'm of the belief when you just let them all pour in at one time, you're going to obviously favor them over the local citizens. And that's exactly what's been happening in these sanctuary cities. And that's why immigration is such a hot talking point, which goes back to the question here. Should Trump do another debate? Or should he not? Well, this is what Scott Jennings had to say.
A lot of Republicans, it didn't feel like it was a debate. It felt like he was on trial and there were 3 prosecutors. And I promise you that no matter who moderated another debate, the pressure would be on those moderators from the mainstream media to be harder on Trump than they even were over at ABC. So if you're Donald Trump and you're looking at like, what am I going to do to change a narrative? What can I do to impact a more positive outcome? There is no way to get a better outcome out of another set of moderators after what happened with the ABC debate. And on top of that, if Kamala Harris is going to be allowed to go to debates and ignore questions, flat ignore questions about the economy and immigration and not be pushed on that, that's not fair. And if the moderators are going to be able to try to fact check Trump with things that they say that turn out not to be true, that's also not fair. So to me, there's a ton of risk in it, and I don't think it's necessary.
I believe it's a risk definitely for Kamala Harris, because what if Trump shows up differently? And the moderators are not as nice to her as they were in the ABC debate. So she actually could take a bigger loss than Trump. No matter how many times you hear people complain about Trump, and you hear people even complain about the debate as it pertains to Trump, the numbers have not declined. His support has not wavered. It does not matter what this man does. He has enough votes to win the election. He's got that already. Now, the few percentage of the votes, when we're talking about the independents, those people are still on the fence, and he hasn't won those votes yet. But he also hasn't lost them either, because Kamala Harris, she hasn't won those votes. And those voters want change.
When you are looking at this race and you sort of see some of the things that are being done, does she, Kamala Harris, need to do more to explain to the public what her policies are? Because that's the thing that keeps coming up in polling as well, that people don't really know what her policies are all about.
Well, that's one of the big questions that a lot of voters have. What are her policies? How is she going to try to differentiate herself from President Biden? And who is Kamala Harris? A lot of voters know Donald Trump, know who he is. And one of the goals of the Harris campaign has been trying to introduce her to the public and help the public understand who she is, what her story is. And that's something we saw on the debate stage, her talking about her upbringing and trying to help voters get where she's coming from. But, for the Harris campaign, they're really going to have to try to articulate, I think, more clearly to voters exactly what some of her policy points are.
Well, again, they're making another mistake. If her campaign's going to do it, that's not going to work. They've been doing that. Those little flimsy press statements they put out on social media, that's not working. She needs to come out herself. It needs to come from the horse's mouth. You guys know what I mean. This is why I'm saying she's at a disadvantage, because that is not her strength. Unless, again, she proves us wrong, which I don't believe will happen. Now, this brings me to what CBS posted on X. CBS News, along with partners Univision and the Wall Street Journal, has invited both presidential candidates to participate in an October debate at Arizona State University. We hope they accept and provide voters with another opportunity to hear directly from them. Now, if you guys don't recall, remember, she had already rejected CBS, NBC, and Fox News. So will she take this debate? I'm not too sure. That remains to be seen. But the whole point of the video that I want to highlight for you guys is who's taking the bigger risk by doing another debate, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? In my opinion, seeing everything I've seen up to this point and looking at the numbers, not people's feelings and how they thought the debate went and all this other stuff, if we look at the numbers as they are today, she needs this more than Donald Trump. And so it's a bigger risk for her than Donald Trump. His support is solid as a rock. Final points for you guys to take away as this week ends after this crazy debate that we saw. Number one, there are millions of people out there who will vote for Trump but not tell anyone. Okay? That is either going to be at least 1 to 2 percentage points. So why does this even matter? It matters because if she is not able to increase her lead up to 5, even at least 8 points, if you're talking about the national polling average that Joe Biden had, then she's definitely behind, which is why they came out and they have stated that they're trying to run her campaign like she's the underdog. And she is, because that's what the numbers are showing. So no matter how people feel about what happened, the numbers tell a different story. This leads me to my final point. The only thing different I believe Trump should do, this is just my own personal opinion, is I think he should ramp up town halls and he should go to the swing states where these independents are located and just speak to them. And not make it an actual rally, but an actual town hall. So they get to see him face to face and experience him without him being interrupted by a biased moderator, if that makes any sense. I think that would do some good for him. I think he should continue to do the podcast. I think he should continue to do rallies, of course. But I think he truly needs to triple down on the town hall technique, but make sure it's independents that are there asking questions so they can get a feel for him. But at the end of the day, people know what they're getting with Trump. And it's good enough for them if they think about it, if they go back 4 years ago. But when it comes to Kamala Harris, they don't have that same clarity. So who should really do a debate? Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump. That's my mindset. What do you guys think about this announcement that CBS made trying to get them to agree to a debate? What do you think about the fact that Trump denied that he was going to do another debate? I think he will. Who do you think is taking a bigger risk by doing a debate? Let me know what your answers are and more in the comment section below. Remember, if you love this channel, you know what you could do for me right now? Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for checking this out today. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.